Okay, so this is the road to Sandy Bay. Sandy Bay is a district of St Helena, as well as being the one and only beach, and you'll see what we mean by beach later on. This is quite a special road. The first day we were out of quarantine, June went to work, and I got in the Ford Focus hire car that we had, and I decided to come down to Sandy Bay, have a look at the seaside. And it was one of the most frightening things I think I've ever done, so you'll probably find out why in a minute. But yeah, the road to Sandy Bay is one of the more interesting roads on St Helena, and if you've seen any other of the other videos, then you'll understand that that's quite a statement in itself. I'm going to shut up now and just concentrate on driving, hopefully getting us down and singing one piece. We'll see you on the beach. At this point, it's worth noting that any resemblance to the island out of Jurassic Park is entirely coincidental. I've yet to see a dinosaur, but I'm not going to say there aren't any. We're also heading on our way down to one of the bigger banana plantations on the island. They do grow on the island, as does bamboo. So that's Sandy Bay Community Centre. And one of the interesting things that I think is really interesting about this island is you can go from this fantastic greenery and the mix of vegetation in the space of a short space of time into what looks very much like a desert environment. You'll see that later on as we drop down toward the beach itself. There's very little growing other than cactus and various other bits and pieces, but at the moment, if you look at it, it's so green, it's amazing. Building a new house. It's not the worst place to build a house, I guess. Although getting materials out here must be an absolute bugger, but there we go. There we go, so Sandy Bay Beach, we're on our way. There's the bamboo grove. I'd be interested to get in there, to be fair, and see how big some of the bamboo is. I would imagine so, it's quite old. See, when I first came down here, at this point I was thinking, well, this isn't too bad, you know, the old Ford Focus is coping quite well with this. It's not the widest road, but, you know, there's nothing too dramatic about this one. So, Yeah, just wait a minute. This is Collins Bar and Public Payphone. So there's a pub. I don't know what their opening times are like. Okay, so now we start to get a little bit more interesting. Two big rock formations on the right hand side, I don't know if you can see them or not, but one is called Lot and the other one is called Lot's Wife. That's in the biblical characters. I'm not entirely sure which one's which. I think the closest to us is Lot. I'll see them a bit better in a minute. Hopefully this is one of those roads where you don't really want to meet a lot of traffic one way or the other, because there's not a lot of room for compromise either way. The fun bits are about to start, just about. So, very much like an alpine pass. The only way to get up and down the hill, because it's quite a drop down, is by copious uses of hairpin bends. There's a church, in case you need to stop and have a quick pray. Steep road engage low gear. Oh, they're not kidding. Imagine Porlock Hill and then multiply it by a number of times with the added threat of death by dropping off a ledge. Somebody else on their way down to the beach. Not going to be the only ones here today. And the trouble is, driving something like this thing in a 4x4, you set up fairly high, which is good, but you can't see where the road goes. So some of this is just an act of faith. And you can see what I mean about the greenery starting to disappear and get a bit thin on the ground. It dries out pretty quickly as we go down the hill. All in one go, just. Again, we've still got people's houses on the left and right as we go down the hill. And in fact, stupidly, one of the nicest houses on the island is right at the bottom, down toward the beach, which is pretty new, and it was built as a holiday lodge in the anticipation that when the airport was built and opened, that there was going to be a rush for tourism, etc. So a lot of the islanders put a lot of money into catering for a slightly upmarket kind of tourist, which never really materialised. So they let them out to people that come over on term contracts like us, or as holiday lets to the odd person who comes over looking for a fortnight in a place that you can't get to or get off of. So it kind of limits the market a little bit. You see the guy in the Focus doing exactly what I did. The Focus actually isn't a bad car to have up to this point, but once we get to the beach and the road then is no longer a road, it then becomes a track. If you're in an ordinary front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive car without the ground clearance, you've got some interesting driving. I did it, but like I said, every time I went forward I thought, oh my god, if I break anything and we stop here, I've got a bit of a problem. But that's true of anything, I suppose. So, there we go, road widens out, eases off a bit now. That's the trickiest bit coming down the hill done. Not overly pleasant, but there we go. And up on the right hand side is the lodge I was talking about, the wooden lodge. Looks like a nice place. Not so sure you've got the world's best sea views, but there we go. Certainly not going to get interrupted whatever you do. Slide off the bank there. One of the problems they have all over the island is obviously when it rains, which it does, it can be quite heavy. It tends to come down in heavy short bursts, and one of the problems you have then is with all the supporting banks and the rocks, sometimes they slide. We've not seen any major slippages, but there is always something lying on the road one way or the other. That's about the last house, I think, so if he's going in there, yeah, he is. So that's fine. So he doesn't have to battle the beach. That's about as far as you want to go in a standard car. So maybe we won't get the beach to ourselves today, who knows? Find out when we get there. So there we go, from green, we're now into cactuses and dry lands, and you expect to see vultures sat in the trees, all sorts of different things going on. And that's my road down to the beach. again, given that the Focus was a higher colour, I brought it down here quietly, gently, and it did it. It was okay. It managed to survive, and it got me out, which is probably just as surprising. But I'm much more relaxed about doing this in a big 4x4 like this thing. So. Beautiful clear blue sky today. I consider it's the 9th of June, coming into the middle of winter here. Can't say it's the world's worst place to be in the winter. Somebody's veg patch.
No. We're going left it.
Oh, at the top, right, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, so it's at this point even the St. Helenians give up, because the sign up here says basically 4x4s only from this point onward, and we've got a choice of 2 roads. We're going to go to the left first, which takes us to the old gun positions. Which is the east road, and then the beach is down there, but you need 4x4s to get to both. Reason for which will become obvious as we go down the road. It doesn't look like there's anybody else at the beach today. Look down this side. And of course, Sandy Bay is strangely named. It is volcanic sand, so it's black, much like not Tenerife. What's the other one? Oh, it's Sister Island. Can't remember the name of it now. Black volcanic sand there as well. So not the most photogenic. Yeah, and you can see why I didn't really want to bring a hired Ford Focus down here. The old story though, use the right vehicle for the right road, and nothing's really a problem. Just take it nice and slowly. Right at that bloody big rock that's in front of it, though, if I can. There we go, that's that.
Don't hold them.
There we go, so this obviously used to be a 45 position at some point.